when we are talking about the digital aspects of it, it is nothing but I have to say everything is getting into the technology spectrum, where technology is taking up the digital supply chains of the world. And then even we know like banking is getting digital, everything is getting digital thanks to COVID to some extent. All the businesses have become digital. So mostly when we talk about the digital, it's about kind of doing this uh, friendship or handshaking between the technology and the regular ecosystem is what digital technologies are getting in. I think as we all are from the security fraternity, right? When digital gets into space, when technology comes into space, it also brings with a lot of advantages. At the same time, there are so many other
Hi everyone, welcome back to the GB Show. As I continue with my journey in the Besides Goa, I have with me Shaileja Vadlamudi from SAP Lab India. She's VP Cybersecurity, Privacy and ERP in the digital supply chain. So when we talk about digital supply chain, it's all about managing all your end-to-end infrastructure and how the code, how the technology has been managed and moved from one source to another. So, what digital supply chain is all about, what are the risks associated with it, and lot more in the diversity space, because Shaileja is also the founder of Women in Cybersecurity. So, we are going to have amazing learning insights from her in this episode. So, let's hear her out. Hello, ma'am. Welcome to the GB Show.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Sure, ma'am. And I think Besides has given us this opportunity. And so, everyone, I'm in Goa and very, what do you call, I'm feeling privileged to have ma'am with me today. So, I think, Shaileja, if I talk about you have done a lot of work in the supply chain risk management and having overall around 20 plus years of experience, right? For my audience to start with and to have a basic knowledge on when we talk about supply chain risk, and these days we call it digital
Right.
supply chain, right? So, what this term is all about and how you would like to define it for us?
Yeah. So thank you for having me here, and good to catch up with the friends and part of the Besides Goa conference over here. Yes, getting into the mere basics of what digital supply chain is all about. When we talk about the supply chain, we all know what supply chain is. But then when we are bringing the digital context into the supply chains using digital technologies or data analytics into decision making capabilities so that the supply chain becomes so effective, and then the cycles between the digital supply chain can be reduced, and then people can get the entire end-to-end supply in a very minimal amount of time and with the best quality, with the best minimal efforts, and so on and so forth.
Okay, and define the digital term and what all different parties are included in this.
Yeah, when we are talking about the digital aspects of it, it is nothing but I have to say everything is getting into the technology spectrum, where technology is taking up the digital supply chains of the world. And then even we know like banking is getting digital, everything is getting digital thanks to COVID to some extent. All the businesses have become digital. So mostly when we talk about the digital, it's about kind of doing this uh, friendship or handshaking between the technology and the regular ecosystem is what digital technologies are getting in. I think as we all are from the security fraternity, right? When digital gets into space, when technology comes into space, it also brings with a lot of advantages. At the same time, there are so many other aspects we have to consider about it.
Okay, and because we are talking about security as well, right? So, as supply chain becomes digital, and for specifically the technology space, when we talk, what all risks you foresee in here, and are there any challenges which is the today's technology leaders facing about it?
Yeah, for sure. As I was telling earlier, at least they know. For example, if I'm running my regular business, if I'm expecting any goods uh, from specific vendor at so and so time from my warehouse to my retail store and so on and so forth, at least you know. But then when you have these digital technologies onboarded, for sure you have a lot of ease. But at least somewhere back in their mind, there are also for those of them who are getting into this digital transformations recently, they have their fear holding them back looking into the aspects of security. For example, when you talk about, because when we develop a specific software, we say like we are giving the software, but then the world have witnessed a lot of challenges when it comes to the bill of material of the software. For example, what all ingredients that makes a software, what kind of open sources are there, because we have also witnessed the SolarWinds where the entire world has taken a back and started realizing what is happening with the governments, the biggest government of the world. So for sure it also brings a lot of challenges when you move into this digital transformation and you start using these digital technologies. But I think it is also an opportunity for the security fraternity, as I said, because wherever we see challenges, that's wherein our presence becomes much more stronger and prominent.
Yeah, so risks are there, challenges are there, but then there are challenges which are there to, why I can't fix it.
Yeah.
So when you have emphasized, okay, with the digital supply chain, there are these 4 or 10 or maybe 50 risks are there, right? So when the technology leaders try to fix them, they are facing a lot of challenges. What are the prominent 3 you will like to talk about, that why this risk exists and not every organization is at par to fixing it?
Yeah, I think it also depends on the appetite of the organization. Not that people don't want to fix the risk, but then, for example, look at the large enterprises. They have huge customer base. They're also waiting us to create the best breed products in the digital technology space, having AI, MLs, and so on and so forth. And then security also comes hand in hand. For sure, you cannot have 100% security product anywhere. And then sometimes you have to also, prioritize your features versus some of the topics. It can be performance, it can be security. But I say now no one has the luxury of letting go security, the key risks onto the table, if they're not doing it in first phase of their product availability in the market. At least in the next phase they have to sit on it. Otherwise it is becoming the question of survival for existence. If you don't fix it, you cannot win the game anyways.
Okay. And in your career so far, so what is the biggest challenge you have seen, or any incident you like to share with us?
The biggest challenge, I think, if I have to talk about, is bringing your all stakeholders to an understanding of, for example, quantifying a risk, or trying to understand the investments required on the table, or taking some of the tasks. For example, since I'm working in the product development space, right, developing a feature versus fixing this, specific bunch of security issues, or prioritizing something else, compliances and priority, and so on and so forth. Because I believe in all my days of my career, having technology strength or expertise is for sure an asset. At the same time, bringing all your stakeholders part to the table, making all of them understand, speaking their own language, and then working as a team will help us to reduce the timelines to be able to deliver or accomplish the task that we are designing for. I think that's going to be an asset. It's not a challenge rather, but then stakeholder management is the key. For sure, when you have stakeholders, then you have it all.
Okay. And because in digital we talk about even the software licenses and codes as well, right? So in that space, when the supply chain, so I think the third party who is developing the code for you, then there are big risks there as well.
Yeah, right.
So how important it is to manage, and what are the best practices you will like to advise to manage those kind of risk when you have vendors who are writing the code for you, or taking some repositories and putting it together?
Right.
Anything or any thoughts on that?
Yeah, right question, I have to say here, because when I started developing software, right, open source is only 10% of it, and the rest is all developed by us, by the people who are involved in developing a product or a software. But down the lane, when cloud started taking the precedence, we have the table changed, or the game changed, is what I have to say. Now I think most of the times it's 10% is my code and 90% is all you have software. And then when we're talking about the digital supply chain security, as I was also talking earlier, bill of material plays an important role. What are the key ingredients that you're making your software? What all open source components you have? And then in this cloud transformation, that we also have to understand your CI/CD pipelines, and then having the right set of combination, and also understanding what is the ingredient that you're using, and then closely monitoring it, and also having the right tools and process in place to ensure everything, you are not spoiling your security posture, being it moving it to cloud or bringing any new open source onto the product development.
Okay. And when we're talking about the product development specifically, these days AI is making a lot of buzz everywhere, right? So in digital supply chain risk, what do you think AI will do, or what kind of role AI can play?
Yeah, for sure. People are also, AI has become the talk of the town
Yeah.
these days, and then AI can be a friend when we use it in the proper ways and mechanisms, because I think AI is also going to become a catalyst in our entire product development to enhance, to do automation, for example, because be it cloud security, or be it secure development process, and everyone wants to achieve that level of automation which will help us to be efficient, to be more efficient, right? In this scenarios, AI is going to be really cool and efficient, and with the variety of tools that we use, as we all know, in the software development, be it security tools, compliance, and many other tools, AI is going to take the center stage as well in terms of security world, is what I can say.
Okay, and any risk associated with AI which you think gonna impact, or prominent more risks which are there in the research pricing, or maybe it can gonna add to it, or it can reduce some. So, what is your thoughts on
Yeah,
that?
see, I think if let me talk about a knife, right? Any weapon that can be used in the kitchen, and it can be used with the butcher, it can be used in several places, and so on and so forth. It also depends on the context, how people are using it, like how the security fraternity is using all this AI and all of that. The adversaries are also using it. So AI can, they're also weaponizing AI. They're also changing or the logic of the algorithms that is built into the AI models, and so on and so forth, and kind of trying to give a different behavior definition to the algorithms that we have in the system, which if we don't act on it, if you're not aware of it, then you're losing the game. So for sure, when you're using AI, we have now best practices. OWASP has also released top 10 things that have to look into when you're developing something using AI, and most of the companies are also working towards it. I think we also have to look into the security aspects as well, and the sanity of your model, so on and so forth. So all these things have to be considered. Otherwise, AI is also going to be a disaster for you at some point.
Fair enough. And I think one, apart from, or deviating myself from this topic, right? You have been advocating the diversity in the technology field. So, as a founder of Women in Cybersecurity, right? So, what is your aim, and what message you have for the audience, or what are the things you're working towards?
Yeah, I think this is something really close to my heart, Gaurav, if I have to say, because diversity, people always think having more and more women, and yes, it is required, because leaving the security space itself, when I am reading one of the article quite a while ago, when I'm looking into the countries, right, where their GDP is far better than ours, I understood they have more women coming out and working in this space. Yeah, and I also believe if most of our women pick up their professions, be it anything, they can be entrepreneurs, they can be technology space, or whatever it is, it's going to be the good factor for India as a country, for all of us. On the other side, having a different diversified thoughts onto the table for developing, for defending, for breaking, for building is always good, because you have to have balance out the proportions onto the table. And coming into the non-profit which I have founded, Women in Cybersecurity and Privacy, yes, we have the requirement and the need to sensitize women and children, especially in the rural areas, because they are so vulnerable, and they are also the target audience for most of our attackers on the digital space, be it social media, be it Instagrams, Facebooks, and all you see. And personally, I also had the opportunity to go and meet some of the students from the government schools in the remote places of the country, where when we were going to that school, we don't have a proper road, a government school. But then surprisingly, when I walked into the school, there was a small child in a fifth grader. I don't exactly remember. He said, "Ma'am, I have 550 followers on Instagram." And these little children, the parents are kind of daily wage workers. They're not coming in from economically strong families. But imagine, but he or she doesn't know what are the side effects of having it. And in one of the schools, when I started sharing about, there is a class of girls, and then I just went and started sharing a simple example of, don't believe everyone, don't just trust everybody whom you meet on internet. It cannot, maybe they are claiming they are be a software engineer somewhere, or an RI somewhere, but it may turn out he is an auto person riding an auto next street. And surprisingly, unconsciously, all the girls were turning back and looking at one of the girls in the class, which means this incident already happened with her. And so these are the places where I feel we have to really stand up and really look into that, sensitize this generation, because I believe the future of India is also depending on the rural, civilization and their awareness on so many factors. So we are also aiming towards bringing also the next generation cybersecurity experts and leaders into the community. Yeah, these are some of the thoughts that we had in mind when we started this initiative as such.
Amazing. I think you are doing a great work professionally and for the community as well. And I think today talking to you has given me a lot of insights. And maybe I will love to work with you in future, and maybe the two communities can do something together. But before I, sign it off for this session, I have the last segment where I will ask you to work or talk to my audience directly.
Yeah,
right?
sure.
So, okay. So let's say diversity we are talking about, or there are different generation,
Yeah.
because this is the new concept which you have given me. Generally, when
Yeah.
we talk about diversity, people talk about men and women, and
Yeah,
today you're
right.
talking about the different generations, and then we have the different generations of supply chain as well. Now it's a digital supply chain, but anyone like the new generation, want to start their career in the digital supply chain and want to understand that fundamentally, or the risk associated with the round. So what are the best practices you will like to share with them? So my audience is all yours.
Yeah, I think the best question of the entire segment, I have to say, because since I am coming in from the digital supply chain organization as such, and these days I think there are a lot of inclination for the youngest generation towards the digital supply chain because of the prominence and the importance of it. I'm happy to see the younger generation picking up their specialities in the digital supply chain. And here we have a lot of opportunities, but I think supply chain, when you think about it, when all of us take a back seat and understand how our retail store guy is getting all the things onto the table from farm to the store, right? That itself is a supply chain for us. And then when you give this entire storyline into the system and then develop in software around it, and I think as long as the humans live, we all have to eat and live and all of this, and everything around the existence of the human race is around supply chain and the digital supply chain. So I think the careers are going to stay forever. At the same time, people who want to, or the next generation who want to get into this field, as in any other field, check out what is happening in your space, check out the advancements, like how they are using AI and ML, the metaverses of the world, because they can always add a different perspective and add a different value proposition. Now they're talking about 3D printings and so on and so forth in the supply chain. And you're talking about IoTs of the world, where the devices talk to each other much before your product reaches your warehouse. The sensors are sending the information. Or we are living in an era where, for example, my truck is stuck in a traffic. Yeah, and then there's a festival season in US or somewhere in Christmas or something. Now the algorithms are also deciding the route and also the time frame, deciding now in particular state there's going to be a snow, and then I also have to design this software in such a way it also calculates all of this in a particular season, so that my end customers, my retail customers, are not getting impacted in high-end season and so on and so forth. So these are the things, the geographical, the natural aspects is what we have to think when you're developing. I think now anyways this generation is so sensible to very kind of minute details. I think that curiosity will really help them to have their flying career in here.
Awesome, amazingly. I think everyone gonna love this particular episode, and I was like, okay, will you gonna win this hamper or not? So you have actually won it. You deserve it. So thank you for being on my show.
Thank you.
Amazing. So guys, take care. I'll see you next Friday. Till then, be safe. Bye bye.